if I told you that the Earth isn't the only planet with water? See that block of land with water in the middle? It belongs to Mars. We are sure that Mars used to have oceans, lakes, rivers, almost all of it frozen beneath the surface or evaporate off into space. There's probably still some trapped beneath the seasonally expanding and contracting carbon dioxide ice caps, too. So, what might Mars looks like today if it had surface water? That of course depends on how much we are talking about. Some more extraordinary besides the water is the biggest mountain in all the solar system is called Olympus and it's his pride. The red planet is considered by the scientists the big cold desert because it doesn't any living thing and the supposition of why the water on Mars is frozen is because by the very low temperatures. And an important fact is that the Soviet Union and the NASA had space race attempt to arrive first on Mars. And the Soviet Union, since October 10 of 1960, had multiple launches. But the US government started launches since November 5 of 1964 with the Mariner 3. And US had his first success with the Mariner 4.
My name is Evander Luna. Where does the water of Mars is coming from and where is located? Liquid water on this planet only appears to flow from elevated surface or instead that keeps the slopes on the Martian surface relatively warm. According to NASA, in 2011, these dark features on the slopes that are seen below in this image, you can see all the dark lines. All these dark lines are called recurring lineal slope or RSL. These were confirmed to be signs of salty water running in hills or in water states on the surface of the planet. This information is not highly proved, 100% truly stated, but is inferred cautiously in detail by planetary scientists using observation with high-tech satellites. Now, how is composed Martian water? NASA's Mars Curiosity rover has used its full array of instruments to determine the Martian soil and how it is composed. What he found was that the soil is composed by water and sulfur. Well, according to some people in NASA, that work in NASA, scientists, stated that may form the salty water, but again, NASA has not proved it yet, and we don't have any information in a deeper detail. I want to introduce an important information that no one knew about it just a few months ago. NASA stated that primitive ocean on Mars held more water than Earth's Arctic Ocean and that the red planet has lost 80% of the water to space. This is so incredible that the scientists have been researching for answers to respond. The study on this NASA study provides a solid statement of how much water Mars once had by determining how much water has lost to space. The scientist Geronimo Villanueva, an Argentine scientist at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, said that with this work we can better understand the story of water on Mars. Perhaps about 4.3 million years ago, Mars would have had enough water to cover its entire surface in a liquid layer. About more likely, the water on Mars have formed an ocean occupying almost half on Mars hemisphere.
Another question is, the water on Mars can be drinkable for human? One of the most common questions right now is, can we drink the water? The short answer is yes. However, it's a bit more complicated than you think. Right now, we know that water doesn't really flow on the surface of Mars. It's seep. Think more like a wet dirt. Thanks to Curiosity rover and various other Martian landers help us to find many things that we don't know about Mars, like the Martian soil is a rich type of hydrated salt called charophyte. The presence of this salt is the what makes the presence of the liquid water possible for the extremely harsh environment on Mars. The pure water cannot survive on the surface. The water that you see on the surface is not drinkable. Instead, they need to find a source, the water that leads us to the drinkable water. The NASA knows the location of the water. As a result, scientists have a pretty good idea of what Mars interiors looks like. According to Jim Green, NASA Planetary Science Division Director, the key of finding drinkable water on Mars will be located freshwater aquifer below the Martian surface. The next question is, how do this discovery benefits the Earth? The water is understandable is one of the most necessary substances as we understand it. Therefore, the detectation of water on another planet is important indication for extraterrestrial life. This is not new. The water in Mars is not new, but they didn't know that it was a vast amount of water on the pole. The NASA has found waters around the solar system like the moons of Jupiter, the Saturn, and also the planet Ceres. In a very distant future, liquid and frozen water will be an important factor in potentially sustaining human life. Bone or terrestrial bonds and the benefit of water are not limited to simply fuel human biological needs. The water found on Mars or else in the solar system could be used to produce fuel and electricity, and also this can be able to go further exploration on the space. This cannot be necessarily mean that we're going to colonize Mars or any moon. This means that we're going to bring the water to Earth to benefit us. Normally, we think of Mars as being the most Earth-like planet on the solar system. But in the new discovery of liquid water on the surface, this can mean a big change for the future. And this is it. Thanks everybody.